Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the JK Experience. Flying solo today. Once again, just busy. Got a lot of things going on right now, and needed to get in the studio and just record another one of these podcasts. But James wasn't able to make it. It's okay. He's got things going on. Hey, listen, I know that over the last couple months, it is probably like, if you're like everybody else out there, it's probably felt like it felt like a couple years. Hard to imagine, that first of all that we're only in May, but hard to imagine everything that's gone on over the last couple months. And I don't know about you, but it is hard to wrap around in my head, where we're really at. With everything. And, as positive as we try to stay and as positive as we continue to look for what's going to happen that day or the next day, the reality is that there is a lot of things going on that are bringing a lot of uncertainty and chaos into our world. Depending on where you're at in the country, you're feeling different levels of this stress. There's those of you that have literally been in shelter in place and are very, very restricted on the things that you can do. There's those of us that are not shelter in place, but we have also had a lot of things that we've not been able to do as a whole. With businesses being shut down, access to certain things, national parks, buildings that you normally would be able to get into. You don't have access to those right now. And, it can really mess with you. It can really mess with your outlook on life. And I'm very much aware of that. I want to make sure that you guys understand that, we understand the severity of that. But I want to talk today really specifically about, so where do we go from here? Like, we know what we're limited to. We know what we're not capable of doing, and we know what we're not capable of participating in. But so what are we left with, right? What are we able to do in a time of this uncertainty? And as I look at what the next 30 days can be, because right now you can't go more than 30 days out, whether it's in your business plan or whether that's just in the way that you tackle life. Is that I really feel like if you go more than that, there's just too much uncertainty. There's just too much of things that are out of your control and unknown that you don't want to go that far out. Now, can you have a vision of something greater? Yes, absolutely. But what I want to focus on is like, what are the next 30 days of your life going to look like? It's already been 60 days. Imagine what those 60 days would have looked like if you would have had a different outlook. If you'd have known now what you could have done back then, what would have life looked like differently? Would you have done anything differently? Would you have reacted differently? Would you have planned differently? And with the uncertainty still looming in all of our worlds, what is it that you can do now that will make the next 30 days the best that they can possibly be? There's an acronym, it says BUTTON. That we use a lot and we've used in our company for a while. And I want to share with you, like, what is wearing the button? What is actually buttoning up every single day look like for you in this place of uncertainty, in this place of chaos? And what can you do to button up daily in order to show up for not only those that you're serving in your life, but those that count on you, but also yourself? Like, how do you button up for yourself? And it's an acronym to be here now, trust the process, never give up. You've heard us say that before, but I really want to dive into that today, because I think now more than ever, we need to really, truly look at what does it mean to be here now in our lives? What does it mean to trust the process in our lives? And what does it mean to never give up? I think it's very easy for us to just show up every day with this uncertainty going, okay, well, what is today going to bring us? And I hope that you're not just reacting to all of the situations that are at hand. I hope that you're not just looking at these things right now and unfortunately reading into the news and the media outlets and all of the things that can go on right now. Because I'm telling you, if you're doing that, it is going to make for a very long, miserable, very emotional roller coaster of a ride. You've got to be very careful and very guarded of what you're listening to right now, what you're feeding your mind with, what are you putting inside of your mindset right now more than ever. And so, as we think about this acronym to BUTTON, I really want you to understand, like, this is a daily thing. This is something that you need to be looking at doing in order for you to be the best that you can possibly be, given the situation that you're surrounded with. And so what does be here now mean? Listen, every part of our journey allows for multiple distractions. There's never going to be enough time in the day to do everything that you need to do. There's never going to be enough hours in the day that you can listen to everything, watch everything, implement everything that you're being asked to implement. And I think it's so important that when you identify the things that are important, that you guard it with relentless focus. You guard your time with relentless focus. You have a plan specifically of what is going to happen that day and what you're going to allow, not only in your head, but also in your heart. What are you going to take in that day? And then once you've committed to that, once you've actually been hyper-focused on it, then you have to be 100% there in the moment. And I will tell you, as a man that leads a lot of different companies, it is hard to be 100% focused. It is hard to be committed in that meeting when your phone is blowing up and texts are coming in, or phone calls are coming in, or those emails are coming in, or that webinar. And right now, we are experiencing more Zoom calls and webinars than we've ever been faced with. It's interesting how I find people saying that they've got more time. Listen, if they've got more time, it's because they're not truly looking at this as an opportunity to grow yourself, to grow your business, to grow whatever area of your life that maybe you've been neglecting. More than ever, you have an opportunity to be a part of things that you never had access to before. And so it's so important for us when we have these opportunities now to be 100% focused there in the moment, so that way we can get whatever it is that we're supposed to get out of that time. And I would challenge you, like, when you go into these Zoom calls, when you go into these webinars, when you go into these master series, when you go into these conversations, you should be asking yourself 2 questions. What am I going to take away from this time? And which area in my 5 foundations, because we believe in those 5 foundations: faith, family, fitness, finances, and future, which of those areas is going to be impacted today by what I'm going to be retaining? If you can retain that, if you can write that down, if you can be very specific, if you can have a plan to take away something from that conversation, then you're showing up for your life. You're being present in the moment. You are being here now so that you can create this future version of yourself. And I would tell you that, like, one of the hacks that I've learned over the years that I still try to apply, not always the best at it, but when I do apply it, I see the massive results of it, is that scheduling time right after the call, right after the conversation, right after the webinar, to actually implement and work on what I learned has shown to make massive results in my life. And so I would challenge you that if you are on a 1-hour webinar, schedule a half an hour immediately following it to look at how you can implement the things that you took away. Now, here's the funny thing is that if you have an hour, schedule half an hour. If it's a half an hour, schedule an hour. And I don't know why it works that way, but I have found that for some reason, when it was a half an hour, it was hyper-focused. There was a lot of information, and I needed an hour to implement what I learned through that webinar. And then on the hour webinar, I only needed a half an hour. But I would challenge you to test it, try it out, put it in your schedule. If it's important, if it is in your schedule, then it is important to you. If it's not important, then don't put it in your schedule. If it's just one of 700 other webinars, then you've got to make a decision. What is the best use of my time right now? Listen, we are all getting distracted by so many opportunities out there is that we have to sit down and say, okay, this is the most important one for today. And so what are you doing to be here now in your life, in your business, in your family, in your fitness, in your faith, for your future now? And what are you willing to do to implement the things that you learned today? Trust the process is number 2. And this is one of the hardest ones to do because the process is often unknown. The process is often something that you're not even sure will even work. And so trusting the process can be very stressful. But I would, once again, challenge you to be willing to do the work regardless of what your opinion is in that matter. What do I mean by that? Be willing to do the work because you've shown up, you've been there, you're at the webinar, you're writing stuff down, you're taking notes. Be willing to do the work, not just take notes. But I've got 3 things that you can do in order to make sure that you verify that the person that you're trusting is the opinion that you should be listening to. First of all, we want to look at the track record, right? So the webinar that you're on, the call that you're on, look at the track record of the people that are presenting and do they have the proven results that you desire to get? The other thing is that does the message resonate with you? Do they resonate with you and do you resonate with them? You know, with everything and all the access that you have to now, it's really easy to get caught up in these areas of expertise and these levels of expertise, but they don't resonate with you. And if they don't resonate with you, you will not do the work. There's so many different paths to get to the same result that I would ask you that if they do not resonate with you, then move on and find another one that does. The last one is really hard. Are you willing to and are you going to allow them to hold you accountable? See, if they have a proven track record, if they resonate with you, and if you want to truly trust the process, you also have to allow them to hold you accountable to the things that you say are important in your life. You know, trusting the process is about the implementation of it, but it's also about allowing them to help you hold yourself to the things that you want to accomplish. And listen, I haven't met a human being yet that has been so focused and has never had a setback, that has been so focused and has not gotten distracted that they didn't need accountability in their life. And so are you able to allow them to have accountability in your life? Are you able and are you letting them know that they can have accountability in your life? And how will they do it? How do you want them to hold you accountable to the things that are important in your life? And through all of this, it's so important that you do not look for immediate results. So anything great in your life, you have to understand like there is more work being done under the surface than the things that you see in the daylight. The hours and hours of work that go into the small fruits that you see potentially somewhat immediately pale in comparison and the short-term version of it. Do not look for immediate results. Track and measure for sure. But you have to adjust early and often. And don't forget, it's adjusting on the specific message and the details of the tasks, but it's the consistency of the tasks and the disciplines that you don't adjust on. When you can do that, you start trusting this process. You start trusting the process that is before you. And if the track record has been there and it is proven, if the message resonates with you and they resonate with you, and you have given them the opportunity to hold you accountable, you're going to see the success. The last one is the hardest one. I will tell you this, hands down is the hardest one, and it's never give up. And the reason why this is so hard is because we never know when that breaking point is. We never know when we're just about ready to experience a success. We never know when that next phone call, that next conversation, that next implementation, that next story, that next video is going to be the video that's going to help you get to that level of success, that level of experience that you're desiring. It just doesn't work that way. And if you've talked to anybody that's had success in their life, you understand, like when they say, well, so when was the day that you knew that you made it? And they sit there and they'll go, I still don't feel like I have. Because the peak is always another peak. The destination is never the end, right? The destination is never the destination. There's always another level. There's always another opportunity, and that's not a defeating thing. That's an amazing thing. That's a great thing in your life that you should be looking forward to. Because once you get to a level of success, once you get to a level of accomplishment, you see how much more is out there. You see how much more you can become in a positive way, in an amazing way, in a flourishing way. Not in a jealous way, not in a self-defeating way, but in a way that you can look at yourself and go, man, I love who I am, and I know that I'm capable of so much more. How many people do you know that have given up on things in their life? And they're left with that regret for the rest of their life. You know, that was one of the biggest things for me in my growth as a leader, as a man, as a human being, is that, you know, it was interesting as I grew up, I never ever gave up on myself. I never did. I was never allowed to give up on myself. That was instilled in me at a very young age, and it resonated with me for a long time. But then I got to this age where eventually, like I broke the straw. Like I gave up on myself. And then it became very easy from there on to give up on myself when things got tough. See, if you give up on yourself, it sets a precedence that you're willing to do it, and it's a lot easier to do it the next time. And then it's even easier to do it the next time. And then you find yourself doing it quite often. And then one day you wake up and it's 10 years into it, and you've given up on yourself, and you've given up on your dreams, and you've given up on the things and the desires that you've wanted to accomplish. And you find out all of the things that you could have become, but you didn't allow yourself to go there. You gave up on yourself. And so I challenge you to have this motto. I challenge you to, no matter what it is, do not give up on yourself. Do you have to change directions? Do you have to pivot? Absolutely. Do you have to track and measure and then look and make sure that you're not going in the wrong direction? Yes, you most certainly do. But never give up on the dreams that you have before you. The whole purpose of Button, the whole purpose of being here now, trusting the process, never giving up, is for you to follow and accomplish and search out and experience a greater level of purpose. The whole reason why you're doing this is because you are living in, hopefully, and chasing in this passion that you have, a desire that you see, a gift that you own, and you want to accomplish it. You want to live it out. Right now, we have this amazing opportunity in our lives to look at the focus that we should be on for the next 30 days. What do you have to be relentlessly focused on in your life right now? That if you know you did for 30 days, it would help you become the person that you've desired to be. Being here now, trusting the process, never giving up. 3 simple things that you can do in your life. The tasks are hard. The commitment is hard. But the process is easy. Commit to it. Button up every single day. If you button up for the next 30 days, your life will look different. You will be different. Your mindset will be different. The things that you've experienced over the next 30 days will be different. And the person that you are today will be proud of the person that you're going to become. Button up every single day. And let's see how far, how great you can become. All right, guys, that's all I got today. I hope that this message resonates with you. I'm fired up. I'm ready to go, and I'm going to button up today. So, guys, take care. Wait, before you go, we want you to know how thankful we are for you listening to the JK Experience. You're the reason we keep sharing valuable content every week. If you found any value in this podcast, please subscribe to our channel. Hey, and write us an honest review. We want to know what you think so that we can grow with you. We'll catch you next time.